lens. The lens can be plus 20 diopter lens or it can be plus 14 diopter lens. Now, what are the important characteristics? First of all, it is used for the periphery. Whenever I want to see the peripheral retina, the area will be the 8 disc diameter and the type of image is real, inverted and magnified. So rim is real, inverted and magnified. Real, inverted can, and the magnified, this one is real, then we have inverted and this image is magnified. The magnification is really less because whenever you can see larger area, we can see lesser magnification, lesser area, more magnification. So when I look directly into the patient's eye, then this is called as the direct ophthalmoscope. Direct ophthalmoscope say you will see central retina. Area is just 2 disc diameter and here image is virtual, erect and magnified. Here image is virtual, it is erect and it is magnified. Magnification here is 15 times. So whenever you are seeing lesser area, more magnification is possible, right? So difference between the direct and indirect ophthalmoscope is there. Now look at this. This was the first question that was there in the NSET November 2024. Okay. There was a question related to the layers of the retina. Whenever you see the layers of retina, first of all, you should know that we have 10 retinal layers. We have 10 retinal layers starting. This is the outer side. This is the outer side of the retina and the outermost layer is the retinal pigment epithelium. Second is the photoreceptors. What are photoreceptors, guys? Photoreceptors are rods and cones, which are also the first order neurons. These are also first order. Then we have external limiting membrane. So that I am drawing with the green color here. It does not have the cells and that is why usually it is not visible. This is the third, external limiting membrane. Then we have outer nuclear, outer plexiform, inner nuclear, inner plexiform, ganglionic cell layer, nerve fiber layer, and then is your internal limiting membrane. So we will first look at the ophthalmology portion of the retinal layers, then physiology, and then we will go to the histopathological identification. So you know that we have 10 layers of the retina. This is the order of the layers. Now, if I talk about the neurosensory retina, so remaining 10 layers, if this is the 10th here, so this remaining is called as the neurosensory retina. So broadly speaking, I can divide the retina into 2 layers. One is the RPE layer and another 9 layers are the neurosensory retina with a gap or a space in between. This space is called as subretinal space and the fluid is called as subretinal fluid. Now, this retinal pigment epithelium is again important because it is most resistant. Another important question, this is most resistant to the radiations. This is most resistant to the radiations and this was directly asked in JIPMER 2018. Now, if I talk about the physiology of the retinal layers, the cells which are present. So, first of all, remember the 3 dictums. What are the 3 dictums? Whenever I say that it is a limiting membrane, external limiting membrane, and we have internal limiting membrane. If I say that it's a limiting membrane, then it will have no cells. So that means no cells present in external limiting membrane, no cells present in internal limiting membrane. This is your one. Number 2, if I say that it's a nuclear layer, if it is a nuclear layer, then it will contain nuclei. And number 3, if it is a plexiform layer. If it is a plexiform layer, then it will contain the synapse. Now, if you remember these 3 dictums, your life will become very easy and you can easily tell all the things which are present here. Whenever we have limiting membrane, we have no cells. Whenever we have nuclear layer, we will have nuclei. Then we will have the nuclei, and whenever we have the plexiform layer, it will contain the synapse. Now, on this basis, we are going to see what are present in the different layers of the retina. Okay. Now look at the first one. First one is your retinal pigment epithelium. Which pigment we are talking about? Melanin pigment. This is melanin pigment, which is brown color, black color, and you can easily identify this layer because of its dark color. Then we have the layer of photoreceptors. Photoreceptors are rods and cones, which are also the first order neurons. Now, can you see that photoreceptors ka some part is going in the nuclear layer also, and some part is also going in the plexiform layer. So when it is the nuclear layer, it contains the nuclei. This will contain the nuclei of the first order neurons, and when it is the plexiform layer, it will contain the synapse. Now on this side we have first order neurons, and if you go to this inner nuclear, again we are having nuclei. Here we are getting the nuclei of bipolar cells, which are the second order. So here I am having second order. So outer plexiform ke one side I am having first order, another side I am having second order. That means it is the plexiform is the sinus between first and second neurons. Then we have second, and on this side we have ganglionic cell layer. Because we are having ganglionic cell layer, therefore I will have the nuclei of ganglionic cells, which are the third order neurons. So this will be the plexiform synapse between the second and third. Now it has become very easy. If you see, you have to just see that you are starting it from the first order. Nuclei of first order, synapse between first and second, nuclei of second order, synapse between second and third, and then nuclei of third order, and your physiology is done. First order is rods and cones, second order is bipolar cells, and third order is the ganglionic cells, and you are done. Along with it, most resistant to radiations is the retinal pigment epithelium. Now, which layer will be most sensitive? The layer of photoreceptors, because these rods and cones are photoreceptors, so they will be most sensitive. So a question, most sensitive to radiations, most resistant to the radiations, then outermost layer, which pigment is present, and what are the different cells present in the different layers of the retina. Another important thing is that what is present in the layer of photoreceptors. If the nuclei is present in the nuclear layer, synapse is present in the plexiform layer, then what is present in the layer of photoreceptors are these just outer segment and inner segment. OS and IS. OS, IS. Outer segment and the inner segment. It is just the outer segment and the inner segment which is present. So if you look at the layer of photoreceptors, you have just the segments, outer segment and inner segment. Then limiting membrane में no cells. Then outer nuclear में nuclei of rods and cones, and outer plexiform में synapse of rods and cones. This is the physiology. Then look at the histological section. Histological section was asked way back in AIMS 2015, 16 and 17, and after 17 they have not repeated the question. So again a tentative question for 2025. Now whenever you look at the histological section, you have to see that they are usually asking to identify one of these layers, that is your outer nuclear, outer plexiform, inner nuclear and inner plexiform. One of these layers they are asking you to identify, and they will cover this, okay, like this they will cover, and they will ask you to identify. Now whenever they are asking you to identify, you have to see whether it is a nuclear layer or plexiform layer, whether it is outer or inner. These are the two things that you have to see. Nuclear layer, how to identify? Look at the four layers. You can easily see darkly pigmented nuclei. So I can easily say nuclear layer and nuclear layer. Therefore, I can easily say that is it the nuclear layer. Therefore, the other one is plexiform and plexiform. So we have nuclear, plexiform, nuclear and plexiform. Now outer and inner. What is present outer to outer nuclear layer? See, what is present outer to outer nuclear layer? It's a limiting membrane. Limiting membrane में no cells. So I can see layer of photoreceptors, that is outer segment, inner segment. I can see this pigment epithelium. And what is present outside the pigment epithelium, RP, is the choroid. Therefore, look for three things. Number one, outer segment, inner segment. Number two, look for the RPE. And number three, look for the choroid. If you are able to see these things very easily, I can say that this is the outer side of the retina. Now look at this picture. This was given at the level of choroid in AIIMS 2015. In 2015 mein this picture was given, and you can easily see that RPE is there, and outside the RPE will be the choroid. Therefore, this is the outer side. Now, if this is the outer side, therefore I can say that this is outer nuclear, inner nuclear, and therefore this is outer plexiform and inner plexiform layer. In this way, I can easily answer. But next year, they had given the section at the level of RPE only, 2016 mein. No problem. Still, you can see darkly pigmented RPE layer. Still, I can say this is the outer side. But next year, they had given the section from here in AIIMS 2017, where you could not see RPE layer, you could not see choroid. That means you have to see only outer segment and inner segment. So segments have to be long lines. While on the other side, you have ganglionic cell layer. So again, you will have rounded. So this is not outer segment, inner segment, rounded one. That is why these lines are the outer segment and inner segment. And again, I can say that this is outer side of the retina. So this is the anatomical histology of the retinal layers, physiology of retinal layers, ophthalmology of the retinal layers, and I can guarantee that one question is coming from this area. Please see, everybody, have you understood now? Choroid is lightly stained. Yes, choroid is lightly stained, plus you would see the lumen of the cut vessels also. You can see the lumen of the cut vessels, by that also you can identify. Plus choroid will be outer to the RPE layer. So you can see the darkly pigmented RPE, and then you can see that there is a choroid outside. By that also you can identify the choroid. Color does not matter, can be pink, lilac, purple, any color can be there. Have you understood this, guys? Can I have a small thumbs up if you have understood? If you have understood this, then can I have a thumbs up? And let us quickly try a question also. If you have understood, then give me a thumbs up and tell me the answer for this question. Identify the mark layer. Identify the mark layer in the given histological section. Can you quickly answer this question? First of all, you have to see, is it a nuclear layer or is it a plexiform layer? You can see this is a nuclear layer, plexiform layer, nuclear layer, and plexiform layer. Therefore, the layer which is asked is a plexiform layer. Now here you can see we are having the darkly pigmented nuclei. Here we are having plexiform. Now this darker one is the RPE layer. This is RPE, therefore this one is a choroid, and therefore this is the outer side. So we have outer nuclear, outer plexiform, inner nuclear, and inner plexiform layer. So your answer will be inner plexiform layer. Your answer is the inner plexiform layer. Can you see, guys? Have you understood this? How to get the answer? Everybody has understood. I want each one of you to solve this question, because this question cannot be done just by coincidence or by guesswork. If you know, you know it. So please see you have understood it and you are doing it nicely. And tell me the answer for this question also. Identify the mark layer in the given histological section. You can see nuclear layer, plexiform, nuclear layer, and the plexiform layer. So your is the plexiform layer. Now here we are having lines, and here I am having rounded. Here I am having rounded. Here I am having the lines. Therefore this is not outer segment, inner segment. Which one is the outer segment and inner segment then? Therefore this is outer segment and inner segment. So outer nuclear, outer plexiform, inner nuclear, inner plexiform. So your answer is outer plexiform layer. So I hope now you have understood how to do such kind of question in future. Whenever you get such kind of question, you will be easily able to do it. Now we will be progressing towards the diseases of the retina. Going towards the diseases of the retina. First important question, this one is the rod spots. Where do you get the rod spots, guys? Whenever you can see the superficial hemorrhages with the white dot in center, then this is actually a rod spot. Very easy to identify. You can see this whitish dot in the center, and there are two important causes that you are getting of the rod spots. Many a times this question is asked, that is called as the subacute infective endocarditis, as well as the acute leukemias, acute leukemias, the infective endocarditis or subacute bacterial endocarditis. This was asked in NEET PG 2018. Acute leukemias is the AIMS question. So with patho you can get this off the question, with medicine you can get this off the question. In this way we have integrations of the ophthalmology everywhere, you can see. While second is this, where we have the blood in the vitreous cavity, where we have the blood in the vitreous cavity. This one is called as the vitreous hemorrhage. Whenever we have the blood in the vitreous cavity, this is called as the vitreous hemorrhage. And whenever we have some vitreous disease, it is always equal to floaters. So this is another mathematical ophthalmology dictum. Whenever floaters are there in the question, there will be always floaters, black spots in front of the eye. There is no red glow, because red glow is due to choriocapillaries, so you are not able to see the red glow. Choriocapillaries you are not able to see. And third is the sudden and painless. Third is the sudden and painless diminution of vision. So you have already seen gradual painless progressive diminution of vision was equal to cataract, and the open angle glaucoma. Sudden painful was equal to acute congestive glaucoma and acute anterior uveitis. Sudden painless is equal to posterior segment disease. That is equal to posterior segment disease. Most of the times it is spontaneous. Most of the times it is spontaneous. You do not know the exact cause. Out of the known causes, we can have trauma. So even if trauma is not given in the question, then also you can go with the vitreous hemorrhage. Treatment of choice is the steroids. Mainstay of the treatment is steroids. Along with this, you can give the causative treatment also, but the normal treatment, mainstay of treatment, treatment of choice remains the steroids. Okay, so this was about the two things. Now coming to very important, quickly tell me what is this. You can see the pale retina, retina whitening or pale retina. This is the usual thing that you will get in your question. Retinal whitening hai, pale retina hai, and one reddish spot. This is called as the cherry red spot. It is just like cherry for your exam, most important DD of the entire ophthalmology you will see. And whenever you get such kind of a picture, you have to look for the DD of the cherry red spot. It is the cherry trees never grows tall in. Cherry trees never grows tall in the mud and sand. Mud and sand. This is the very important mnemonic. You can easily remember for the cherry red spot. Mud and sand. So C for CRAO. Then we have Tay-Sachs disease. Then is the Niemann-Pick disease. Then we have G for gangliosidosis. Gangliosidosis, CRO is the only cause where you will also get the RAPD present. Important thing, RAPD. Tay-Sachs disease was asked in NEET PG 2023. This was asked. Niemann-Pick disease is there. Gangliosidosis is there. Trauma may we are getting the blunt trauma, which can cause the Berlin's edema. Which can cause the Berlin's edema. This is also a PYQ. Then we have mud, which can cause metachromatic leukodystrophy. Metachromatic leukodystrophy. And then finally is sand. That will be the Sandhoff disease. So whenever you get a question on cherry red spot, just remember this mnemonic and you are done with the question. Picture is very typical, you can see. And whenever we solve the question on CRAO, they always give CRVO also in the options. So how to differentiate between CRAO and CRVO. So you have already seen CRAO. Now if you look at the CRVO, here we will have a lot of ischemia. Because of the ischemia, there will be vascular endothelial growth factor, and because of vascular endothelial growth factor, we will have lot of neovascularization. And whenever you know you have already done pathology, neovascularization, new blood vessels are always very, very quick to bleed. So you will have lot of hemorrhages. Therefore, we will have lot of hemorrhages, which is called as typical splashed tomato appearance. So while we were getting pale retina, retina whitening in cases of CRO, CRVO में lot of neovascularization, lot of hemorrhages, and because of new question also of NEET PG 2018, this glaucoma is called as the 100-day glaucoma. This glaucoma is also called as the 100-day glaucoma. Another question of NEET PG 2018. Now, once we have compared the CRO